All right, everybody, this is Walt Kasmir. Back to you again. Critical Conversations. This evening, we're talking about a totally new topic than what we usually talk about. We are talking about going global. That's going to be the name of this segment. We are going global, and specifically, we are talking about traveling to the continent. And you are going to be blessed this evening. As I always say, I only bring you the best and the brightest. And tonight I'm bringing you a world-class traveler, a renowned YouTuber with a travel vlog that's just growing by leaps and bounds. And without further ado, I want to introduce you to Ty Inspire.
Hello, thank you so much, Walt, for having me today.
I am so excited to hear about traveling specifically to the continent. And if you could just tell the people about how you first traveled from the US, going to Asia, and then finally achieving your ultimate goal, landing in the continent and actually getting there, getting a life started, and now you're thriving, and then helping people like me and our viewers and listeners learn about what it's really like to go home and travel to the continent. So just take it away and inspire us.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you. I will definitely try. Yeah, sure. So in 2015, I decided that I wanted to move abroad. I wanted to live abroad. I was really adamant about living there and not just traveling because I wanted to really connect with cultures. I've always been very interested in different cultures. And so I felt the best way to do that is to just be there, to live with them, to learn about their culture that way, learn about the language, and just kind of emerge as much as possible, immerse, into the culture. So I moved to China to teach English, and boy, it was definitely an experience. That was actually my first time traveling abroad too. So yeah, it was my first time ever leaving the country, and I decided to move to China out of all places.
Yeah,
Very,
wow.
very different. Yeah.
I mean, you weren't playing around.
Exactly. Yeah, very different from what I've ever experienced in my life. But it was really definitely eye opening and life changing. Yeah, I had to learn a lot fast. So
So you
yeah.
jumped in with all fours. Now,
hmm
was that a brand new venture for you teaching English as a second language, or had you done that before too, or everything was new?
Everything was new.
Okay.
Everything was new. Teaching English was new, and that's a good point that you make because I've always just taught in schools, the basics. I started with teaching pre-K, and I taught everything kind of in between through high school, but I never taught another language or never taught my language as another language. So yeah, I kind of had to relearn how to
Mm,
teach.
okay.
Yeah.
But you obviously achieved that. You excelled at teaching English as a second language,
Yeah.
and then so was it the economy, or you just were ready to move on to a new challenge, leaving Asia and then going to the continent?
Yeah. So as far as leaving Asia and then going to the continent, I just always wanted to go to the continent.
Okay.
So of course, moving to Asia was just the kind of start of everything because I wanted to travel. I wanted to see the world. So I started that in Asia. And going to the continent was also part of that. I wanted to travel and to see. Um, it also was a part of wanting to discover more about myself and my roots, about my people and what they are doing now, what they were doing then, you know. And so it was a big, discovery for me to go to the continent.
Now, I remember we were talking before, and you said that you were primarily motivated by the big year of the return. Now,
Mhm.
I know that there was a lot of hype, but were they actually helpful? Did they streamline the process any for you?
No, no.
What?
Yeah, that to me was the disappointing part because I too thought that I would go here and yes, the process is going to be easy. They're going to help us, they're going to tell us what we can do. It wasn't quite like that. It was mostly just to get people there,
Mm,
to make people aware, to give them this experience, because I will say that they did do that well. And that's it. And it's kind of left. They're like, well, you can come and you can stay, and that was what drew me because when I heard the president say that, I was like, oh my
yeah.
God, really? I
Hmm.
can stay? Like, that's amazing. Um, you can, but you're on your own
Oh,
to figure
wow. Okay, so that's what we're here for.
it
We want to know the real deal. We don't want to learn. We don't want to hear, hype sales pitches. We're
out.
here to get the real deal from somebody who has done it. So
Mhm,
just for us newbies,
mhm,
and I'll put it. I'm just going to put it out there in the atmosphere that it is my goal to come over and travel and experience and learn what it really means to be a global citizen. Hopefully, I get my queen to come with me. She says she wants to come, but I, she she's used to her lifestyle, so we're
yeah,
looking forward to traveling. But
yeah.
before we leave, we want to be prepared as much as possible. So, kind of walk us through what are one of the ABCs of getting ready to leave from the idea of I want to go home too.
Hmm.
I want to see my ancestral origin and
Hmm.
experience that and become a global citizen. But I
Yeah.
know that there's really more to it than meets the eye. So I'm going to go to the person that I know has some answers. And
Okay.
so that's where we are right now. Just kind of talk us through like getting that big push to want to do this to all right, what's the first thing, second thing, third thing, just the practical logistics of how do we make this happen.
Okay. Okay. Well, first thing is you'll need a passport. Now that you've had this big desire, you need a passport. So once you get your passport, then you are going to specifically, I'm going to tell you about Ghana because that's what I know about. That's where I live. You will need a visa to get into Ghana. Now, two things. This year, for this whole year, Ghana has now opened it up to I think those in America, UK. You can come and get your visa on arrival.
Oh,
So you don't have to get it in advance, and that's for this year only. I don't know if they'll extend that, but that is something that they just started for this year. So I want to be clear on that. So therefore, you can just come and get your visa on arrival.
oh,
Now, the details on that, as far as how long
mm-hmm.
they're giving, um, I don't know what that detail is because it's something that they just released.
Okay, I'm gonna try to keep it real simple for those of us who have not been yet. Now,
Okay.
I thought I was doing good getting my passport.
Mhm.
You mean I need a visa?
Yes.
What's that all about? Why do I need that? And how much is that going to cost?
Okay. So anytime you go to another country, you need to check to see if you need a visa. Visa is what is going to admit you into their country. Usually, visas are kind of like a mutual agreement between the countries. So if we're giving free visas to their citizens, then they're probably giving us free visas. If not, then we have to pay. So America does not give Ghanaians free visas, so they have to pay. So we in turn have to pay for our visa for Ghana. So every country is different. It's just an admission to the country, and a way, I think, to collect money, and basically
Oh,
that's it,
okay.
Um,
So I
and to
have my passport,
uh-huh.
and then so if they weren't doing this special right now, I would
Hmm.
have to go through the bureaucracy of going online to the Ghanaian embassy to get
That's
my
right.
visa before, and that so it would take a lot longer than if they weren't doing this big.
Yeah. The process is about, and you can still do it this way, even though you can get it on arrival. I think, like I said, because I don't know the details of the on arrival, but I think that this one may give you more if you just go through the Ghanaian embassy. So yeah,
Okay.
you will go and print out the application off of online, and fill it out, mail your passport along with that and your monies, which when I did mine last time I checked, it was $100. So for a multi-entry visa. So that means you can come back and forth into the country, and not just a single entry. So when you get the visa on arrival, it might just be a single entry. That means you go in once, you come out, that's it.
Oh.
And you have to get a whole nother visa to go back.
Okay. Okay.
But the multi-entry will allow you to come in and out. Okay. So I think it's always best to get a multi-entry. It takes about 2 weeks if you mail it
Okay.
in to the Ghana embassy. Um, like I said, that also changes. It just depends. But
Okay.
last time I checked, it was about 2 weeks. That's what mine took. So most Americans, though, when you travel to different places, there are lots of places where we can go visa free.
Oh.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's
All right.
not. I mean, Africa is not one of those places though. So
Okay. Hey, see,
Africa, the continent of Africa,
did not know that. I thought I got my passport. I thought I was doing something by doing that. I thought I was good to go, but there's a little bit
right?
more bureaucracy. Now, I watched one of your other videos, and I mean, you did such an excellent job. I mean, you had the graphics about there are probably about 4 or 5 uh, issues that you address so specifically, but
Mm,
I'm not going to ask you to give us that much detail. At the end, you can tell them which video that is on your channel, and we'll put the links in the description. But just
sure.
just kind of walk us through the next step. So I get my
So,
passport,
mm-hmm.
I get a
Get your visa,
ticket, I get a ticket and fly over there, get the visa, or get the visa before I come.
right? And you
All
still need
right.
to get a ticket first, even before
Now,
you apply for the visa.
how
Yeah,
much is a ticket gonna cost me to get over there?
that can vary completely. I'm gonna say anywhere from maybe as low as for one way or round trip. Let's just say round trip.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say 1,200 would be a decent price. So maybe starting from 1,000 and up.
And that's one way you said for one
That's
person.
round trip for
Round
one
trip. Okay.
person.
So that sounds. I mean, I've heard people talking about traveling to India, and they were saying several $1,000s. So that
Yeah,
that sounds reasonable.
it's
$1,200
doable.
for a round trip. And
Hmm.
so, is there any particular airline that would be better than others, or are there some short lists?
If you want straight flights, and most people do, I think it's United and Delta at
Okay.
the moment that offer straight flights. So if that's what you're looking for, you should seek out those airlines. Other than that, American Airlines also have good flights. They don't
Okay.
fly to Ghana all the way, so you do have to transfer and
Oh.
get another airline. Ethiopian Airlines is good. Who else? I've flown TAP. They were pretty good coming from Portugal area. So if you go from London on, so
Oh.
yeah, I mean,
Okay. So
I think it's kind of wide
I'm here in
open.
Charlotte, in the Charlotte area. That American is big. They have
Mhm,
Delta. So if I
mhm.
went with American, I would have to get a connecting flight. You're saying?
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then so I know we're kind of on the tail end of this COVID thing, but how is that impacting travel? Are there more immunizations that we have to have before we head to the continent?
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Yes, you do need, technically, you need the yellow fever vaccination, and that's the only mandatory vaccination right now. Um, with the yellow fever, you can also get that at the airport in Ghana. So I actually would advise you to do that because the prices here in America for the yellow fever are very high and it's scarce. So it might be easier to just get it when you get there. But that one is required, and that's the only one required. As far as COVID is concerned, it depends. It's still crazy. The regulations and rules are
Hmm.
all over the place. It depends on the airline. You need to check with your airline. You also need
Okay.
to check with the airport because the airport may say yeah, and the airline may say no, and it could be
Oh,
vice versa.
okay.
So make sure you check with both whether you can do just a test or whether you need the vaccination.
Okay.
But
Now,
coming into
so
the
getting
country,
that the yellow fever you said we
mhm,
can get it at the Ghanaian airport.
that's right.
And how much is that going to run a brother?
Um, I don't know the exact price,
Okay.
but it is probably less than half of what you would pay here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um,
I like that conversion rate.
yeah, it's much cheaper. I'm not going to quote the price because I'm not
Okay.
certain. I don't want to do that,
Fair
but it
enough. We don't want to
definitely
put you on the
is.
spot.
No, it's okay. I do know that it's definitely a lot cheaper. You'll be better off.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So speaking of money,
Yeah.
we definitely don't want to just, you know, have a little chump change and hop on the plane. How
Hmm.
much money do we really need to bring to come over there and not get stranded and be in a bad situation?
um, Again, I always have to give this disclaimer. It depends on the person and what they are planning to do, and how long you're planning to stay. You know, the dollar right now, when the CD is 10 CDs to $1. So, your conversion is going to be really good. So you're going to get a lot for your money. I would say a couple hundred would be okay. You should be fine depending on the length of time. So if you're coming for a couple of weeks, you'll be
Yeah.
fine with that. Mhm.
Okay. So I get over there and I
Mhm.
don't know Ty Inspire and Nappy Briggs. Where
Mhm.
am I gonna what are the lodging gonna be like? How do I navigate? What kind of things am I gonna be able to do or not do? Being a foreigner.
Okay. You're gonna pretty much be open to whatever you want to do. Um, it's good if you can to try to connect with someone to help you. That's definitely you're gonna need some Ghanaian help as far as drivers are concerned, tour companies on the grounds, those things. So it would be a good idea to connect with someone to at least help to plan your trip or to help you connect with the right people. Um, that is something that Nappy, speaking of Nappy, that Nappy and I do offer as far as
Okay.
consulting. and help with that. So you can reach out to us on our channels, and then we can kind of go from there with helping you and directing you. But yes, it's something I think you need to consult with someone if you could.
I wanted to go ahead and ask that because from the videos that I've been watching, others, Wodemeyer, you, and Nappy Briggs, that
Mm-hmm.
definitely seems to be the consensus. Is don't come over there just being a newbie tourist. That you should definitely connect with a local to help you
Mm-hmm.
navigate and get on your feet.
Yeah.
Now we were just throwing names out, but
Mm-hmm.
tell the people who don't know, the people that are stateside and don't know about Wodemeyer and Nappy Briggs. Tell
Mm-hmm.
them a little bit about what they are doing and their channel and all that. I mean, for the people here who don't know about them, these are definitely people that you want to watch and learn about what's going on in the continent. But Tim, you have a inside view of both of these guys. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay. Sure. Wodabaya and Nappy Briggs, they are YouTubers, and they're Ghanaian YouTubers. And so, yeah, they have a lot of information about what's going on in Ghana and on the grounds. And sometimes they may be available to help you. If they're not, they can connect you with people who are. But they do content about Africa in general, and specifically about Ghana as well, but mostly Africa as a continent, and showing people the beauty in Africa, showing people the benefit of coming and investing your time, your knowledge, your talents into the continent, especially those of the diaspora. So please watch their channels. Be a part, join the family, and they can give you some really, really good information. Me, as one of the diasporan that has come back and returned, I also do YouTube content about life as a diasporan
Mm.
in Ghana specifically, and I also do travel content. But yeah, I'm doing a lot of content on Ghana, showing you some of the ins and outs of how to move around, what to do,
Mm-hmm.
what to see, and what life is really like living there. So yeah.
Speaking of what is really like living there, now I
Hmm.
know I've some of the videos I've watched, they were saying that the hype is we're welcome, but some of the videos were saying that that's not 100%. They ran into situations where they were a little shocked to their encounters with people. Can you
Hmm.
shed some light on that for us?
Okay. I think that in general, you are welcome.
Oh, okay.
I have now been there for 3 years, and I have not encountered any problems, whereas I felt that I wasn't welcomed by the locals. So I am not, like diminishing any situations or experiences that others have had. That is possible. But I think in general, you
Okay.
won't run into any problems. Yeah.
The most of the videos and feedback I've been getting have been very positive.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think so too.
we get our ticket, we get our passport, we get our visa, we connect with the local to help us navigate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what kind of lodging should we try to look for? We try to lodge with our host, or are there affordable hotels, or how do we find somewhere to rest our heads?
Okay. Yeah, you can get there are many hotel options, hotels that you are used to. You can find those there, and they're just as nice. You can also do Airbnb. Airbnb is available there. You can find some very nice places that are affordable to stay. For me, I am. very much about connecting, like I said before, really connecting in the end and getting to know people and the culture as much as possible. So I decided to stay in an Airbnb where I was going to be kind of hosted, or I was going to be living with a family or a person, a Ghanaian. And so I did that, and it was the perfect decision for me, especially seeing my situation and what happened. It worked out very well for me. And she was able to help me kind of navigate me too. So that helped.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
So I've seen other videos where people have gone home and gotten their second win and started enterprises, a different thing. What kind of opportunities? Now I'm going to be selfish for just a moment here.
Mhm.
Coming from the medical field,
Okay.
what could a retired nurse do over there in that arena? I know you did an interview with a psychologist.
Okay.
Uh, can't remember her name, but she left the states, packed
Okay.
up her 2 or 3 kids, and she did a couple
Oh, yes.
visit trips. But then she just went over there, but she didn't really say what she's doing over there. I don't know if she's retired or if she's still working. But
She's still working. Yeah, she still
okay,
works online. So she's still working here in the States, but just
oh,
not physically here. hmm Yeah. So a lot of people do that, especially, a lot of Americans that go over. They find work online and they work online. Because when you're making those dollars, let's just be honest,
mm-hmm,
you're making those dollars, your money is going to go a long way. And
okay,
so people are still interested in that if they're still working. A lot of people that are retired, there's a whole community of people that are retired and are living their best lives in Ghana. And they're kind of spread all out, but there's a big group of them that live in Prom Prom, which is like a beach town just outside of Accra. And but you can see pieces of the retired people kind of everywhere. And yeah, they also do a lot of volunteering, helping set up schools, maybe even running schools, creating their own. Because you have a lot of educators, so I mentioned schools, but as far as the medical field is concerned, I don't know specifically, to be
mm-hmm,
honest, but I can imagine that it is a pretty wide open field because there's a lot that is needed as far as medical attention and resources and things like that
okay,
in Ghana. So, I have seen people come and start their own pharmacies. I have seen people come start their own um, practices in the villages,
oh,
outside in the city, doing, volunteer work in the villages as well, as far as medical is concerned.
well, I'm not going to pigeonhole myself, but I mean, I spent all my working life in the medical field, but
Yeah.
I, I'm not. I don't want to come there and be retired. I want to come there and thrive. So I'm
Yep.
gonna, after I get my footing, I want to find my niche and see how I can contribute. But I'm
Yes.
glad that I actually have a local connect, so I'm not starting from
Yep.
scratch when we get there.
That's right.
I'm definitely looking forward to it.
We always tell people that when you come, you will know what you need to do. The best thing to do is to just get there, and then you will see for yourself and feel for yourself where you fit. So I think it's easy to kind of look on the outside and be like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. But when you get there, that's not what you're feeling, or you start seeing other places where you can be involved. So I think that's the best thing to do.
That was profound right there. Normally I ask my guests to give us a nugget that we can take away, but I think that's the one right there is get your ducks in a row first and
Yep.
then get there and experience it and see what speaks to you.
Yes.
Do you have any other nuggets to give the audience before we transition? I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're a busy young lady.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, I think if you're going to come to the continent, please just come with an open mind. And my favorite piece of advice is to know your why, especially if you're coming to move and live. Know your why. It's a developing country. There are a lot of issues. There are a lot of great things as well. And everybody, every country, we all have problems, you know. So if you know why you want to be somewhere or you feel like you need to be, that is what's going to keep you. So know your why.
That's awesome. I think that's great. Know your why.
Yep.
Get your stuff together. Get over there and experience it, and go
Mm-hmm.
from there.
That's
Well,
right.
I appreciate you so much taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak with us. I know you've addressed these issues many
Yeah.
times on your very successful channel, Thai Inspire.
Yes.
Speaking of Thai Inspire, tell the people where they can get in contact with you and get more of your content, more and get connected in the diaspora.
Yes. You can definitely reach me on YouTube as Thai Inspire. And you can reach me on all social media outlets such as Facebook, Instagram is also Thai Inspire at Thai Inspire. So please come join the family. We'd be happy to have you.
All right, people, there you go. Walt Kasmir having critical conversations, discussing one of my favorite topics now,
Mhm.
going global, going
Yes.
back home to Ghana. So if you have questions, I'll have the content links in the description of the videos and the podcast as well. They will be on Critical Conversations, Walt Kasmir, on all streaming platforms. You will also, like I said, you'll have the links to Thai Inspire, Woda Maya, and Nappy Briggs. Also, awesome people. As I always say, I only bring you the best and the brightest. So until we meet again, thank you and know that where there's hope, there's healing.